playing Elves against Bob Huang on your right playing Grixis Delver. Bob, a very, very skilled Legacy player as well. So this should be a pretty good matchup. Yeah, we've seen Bob actually win SCG New Jersey a couple of years ago. Blue-Red Delver, if memory does serve. One of the first people to figure out that, hey, Treasure Cruise is not close to reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was right.
Yeah.
About that, by the way. He was right. Pretty good Magic card. Great.
Why do they do these things sometimes?
Well, you gotta test it out. You just gotta find out if it's gonna be really good or not.
I mean, how expensive would they have needed to make those cards? Like, you know, if Treasure Cruise costs one more, still a problem.
Still a huge issue.
Still a problem.
Still a huge issue. Would have to honestly. So that's a really good thought experiment that I'm sure other people have had. What would you have to price Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time at for them not to be banned? It probably starts at 10. So 9 in the blue or 8 blue. It probably starts at 10.
See, I think even if you do that, decks still are they're going to start playing maybe 2 of them. You know, you no longer have 4 of each of these cards in your deck.
Yeah.
But they're still going to be one of the best cards in the deck.
Man, that is interesting where you have to start them. I think the discussion, like 8, they cost 8. 9 is just not in play. I think double digits is where you start having a real conversation about it. But I agree with you. They just don't play 4 copies. They just play 1 or 2. And then when they draw them, they're living the dream. For now, we take a look at this game. Bob going to play a 1-mana cantrip. It's a Ponder. He's got a Young Pyromancer. He's got a Deathrite Shaman. He has an Underground Sea and a Volcanic Island. For Andrew Jessup, not as explosive. Just a basic forest off of wooded foothills and a Birchler Rangers. He's got a Pendlehaven now. And he's going to follow up with a Quirion Ranger. He'll use the Pendlehaven and the Birchler Ranger to make an Elvish Visionary. We'll see if this resolves. Could have a Daze here. He does. So Bob will counter that. He'll get an Elemental and pass the turn back.
Yeah, you said Andrew's draw is not as explosive, but it doesn't take a lot for the Elves deck to start doing what it does.
2 Force of Wills in Bob's hand. We know he's got the Volcanic Island thanks to the D's. And now we see how the former Legacy Open champion moves forward. A Wasteland will take care of the Pendlehaven. Here come the beatdowns for 4. Jessup will fall down to 15. There's also a Gurmag Angler in hand, but we can't play that one just yet.
Yeah, should that one cost 10 as well?
Is it okay because it's a creature, so it's acceptable?
Yeah, it's actually fine where it is.
Yeah?
It's a big creature, but it doesn't have evasion.
Doesn't have trample or anything like that. Yeah, it can be chump blocked a bunch.
Yeah, who cares about a 5/5? Yeah.
Should Tassiger cost more?
Well, probably not.
I think that's probably still fine. Doesn't even see play in Legacy.
Doesn't even get played right now.
Yeah?
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a really good card. Jessup will draw a card here with an Elvish Visionary. You saw the Windswept Teeth come before the Visionary, so he could pay for a Daze if necessary. Now he will sacrifice the Windswept Teeth. No Stifle to worry about. See what land he wants to search up. Probably wants to keep himself Wasteland-proof, or is at least as Wasteland-proof as possible. So there's another basic forest.
How do you feel about Ice Age forests?
They have a black border, so it's fine.
That's your... No, I mean, you have an opinion on lands. You've got some that you like.
Oh, of course. Everyone has opinions on lands. I actually like this forest.
Okay.
I think it's got pretty good artwork. The starting point for me is the color of border.
Okay.
It's got to start with a black border. Here's a Force of Will and Wirewood Symbiote. Past that, we can open and entertain a discussion about which ones are my favorite. I actually do like this land a lot. This is the land I kind of grew up with.
Yeah.
So I started in Ice Age.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, I don't think this land is that impressive looking, the artwork, but there's a lot of nostalgia tied into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cast a lot of woolly mammoths with that land. And war mammoths.
Oh, yeah, the mammoth family.
The mammoth family and the very grotesque giant trapdoor spider.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorites.
Little Chubtoad.
Never played Chubtoad.
Come on, man.
Nope. Also, the woolly spider, I believe, is also a Magic card.
Yep.
There were a lot of spiders back in the day.
There were.
See that? There's that. I think not. Now that thing not very good.
I don't know. Look at that art. I don't want to stumble across that thing in the woods.
Me either. Remove from the game target creature which doesn't have flying and is attacking you.
It's just so awkwardly worded.
Yeah, it's not a lot of just some combos kind of just in and around, upside down, and giant trapdoor spider. The old days are the best days.
Yeah, it lacks a little bit of elegance.
Yeah. But for what it lacks in that, it's really good at killing a creature. Really good. That doesn't have flying, and is attacking me. Here comes Gurmag Angler and a couple of elemental tokens. Deathrite Shaman hanging back on defense. Right now, looks like Andrew's going to block with the Dryad Arbor. Dryad Arbor is going to be returned, by Quirion Ranger. Bob's just trying to cross the finish line now, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him trade his young Pyromancer, which I kind of like. He's all out of resources. He doesn't have a whole lot to work with, so he's just got to try to jam in as much damage as possible.
Looks like a Glimpse may have been the draw here for Andrew.
Yeah, that's a lot of lands.
Yeah, not a ton going on. He's got actually the other Dryad Arbor in his hand, a fetch line, and then a Glimpse. So all he can do is pass the turn back. No good attacks, obviously, but he can keep doing this block Gurmag Angler thing. In the meantime, a Deathrite Shaman activation here from Bob is going to bring Jessup down to 7. Same attack as the last turn. Angler 2 elemental tokens.
He's thinking about that Deathrite Shaman.
Yes, he is.
I mean, after the Angler came into play and a Shaman activation, that thing's all out of fodder.
And now he's going to slow down entirely. You did mention, taking a look at the graveyards. No spells for Deathrite to remove now. But Deathrite's going to hang back on defense. Birchlore Ranger there. Return.
Nope.
Actually, no return, excuse me.
Yeah.
Birchlore Ranger's just going to die.
Yeah, Andrew's really valuing his land now. If he's going to get out of this spot, it's going to involve that Glimpse and then deploying a bunch of creatures.
The draw for the turn was Gaia's Cradle, so now he's going to need a real rush of cards. He's going to play another Dryad Arbor, pass the turn back.
Yeah, the Cradle's potentially good.
Bob's going to gain 2 life. He'll untap. He will now draw Cabal Therapy to go along with, I believe, Force of Will and a blue card. He hasn't done much of anything the past handful of turns.
Yeah, like you said, he's just trying to cross the finish line. He's sitting on that Force of Will and make sure nothing terrible happens.
Yep, Force plus days. And now just picked up a Therapy.
And with his mana situation, if he uses the Therapy, he cannot use the Deathrite Shaman to deal some additional damage.
Well, let's see what he wants to name. He's going to play the Therapy. Well, he named Glimpse and he hit. He sees a pretty weak hand here. Misty Rainforest and Gaia's Cradle. Here come the Knuckleheads. Even Deathrite Shaman now. Maybe. Maybe not. I think it's pretty safe to attack with it. I mean, he really can't do much else with it. Gaining life certainly doesn't matter.
No, but he does have the option, of removing the Cabal Therapy next turn. Maybe removing the Force of Will after that, but the game's not even going to go that long, which is probably what he was thinking about. How long is this game going to go? It's probably more important just get one of these creatures off the board. If he wants to double block the Deathrite Shaman, who cares?
There's your blocks. Got a double block Deathrite Shaman with the Dryad Arbor and a Quirion Ranger. And then the other Dryad Arbor is going to jump in front of the Gurmag Angler. Query and Ranger will go active, get back the Dryad Arbor, lose the Query and Ranger, fall down to 3, pass the turn back. Time for Jessup to draw. Nettle Sentinel. Not the most exciting of draw steps, but it does actually do a nice job holding off the 1/1s.
Yeah, it brick walls these elemental tokens.
Uh-huh.
He has the 2 Dryad Arbors, the chump block over the next couple of turns. So the game's not over yet.
No. Jessup trying to find out if this is going to resolve or not. It will. There's another Dryad Arbor. Pass the turn back. Bobble draw. Angler thump. Pretty easy block. Follow up. Death Right's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Jessup will draw. Green Sun Zenith.
Probably just going to see a Zenith for an Elvish Mystic here.
Mystic or Visionary?
Visionary.
Visionary,
That's
okay.
what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Jessup just needs to build up a couple of cards to actually have some resources to work with.
Could be that. Could be Symbiote. Could be.
Yeah.
It could be Query and Ranger too. This is a little interesting. All right, this is for 2.
The problem with Symbiote or the Ranger is the second Death Right Shaman.
Yeah, it changes things.
Yeah.
Here's Force removing days.
You know, Bob doesn't even have to get damage in attacking anymore.
Bob will draw. He'll attack with all 3 of his creatures. All 3 that he wants to attack with.
Yep.
Death Right would finish him off, and that's exactly what happened. Bob Huang going to win. Again, number 1 here over Andrew Jessup. Grixis Delver up a game here over the Elves.
We haven't really been able to see any of these Elves deck do what they do. You know, first turn, mana creature, second turn, glimpse, draw 10 cards.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
I mean, we haven't even seen an actual order be cast.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 big cards that really make this deck go have not been cast and do anything yet so far this weekend. So maybe we'll see Jessup do that for game number 2. Who knows? But these players are going to the drawing board, so we'll go to it with them. We'll take a look at the sideboard. So we'll start with Andrew Jessup, who has 3 Abrupt Decays, 3 Thoughtseize, 3 Cabal Therapy, and the one-ofs of Pith and Needle, Newel Rod, Sylvan Library, Scavenging Ooze, Garrett Relentless, and a Progenitus. Talk to me about Andrew's sideboard.
I like the Progenitus and the Scavenging Ooze both seem like fine options. Bob's doing a lot with his graveyard, and the Scavenging Ooze easily counters that, and it's just an efficient body to get onto the board. And the Progenitus we've talked about in a previous match, once that bad boy comes down, there's not a whole lot to be done from the opposing side.
On the other side of things here for Bob, he's got 2 Flusterstorm, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Ancient Grudge, 2 Winter Orb, a Cabal Therapy, a Forked Bolt, an Electric Rear Grim Lavamancer, a Price of Progress, a Pithy Needle, and is it Static Caster?
Bob looks like he's shown up prepared for this matchup.
Sure feels like it.
You know, the Fork Bolt, the Electricity, the Grim Lavamancer, and the Static Caster are all just backbreaking for the Elves player.
Already up a game.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of interaction after sideboard.
Yep.
Elves has demonstrated that it can be resilient at times.
Yeah.
But this is a lot to overcome.
Yeah, the Pithing Needle as well is just really good against the Elves decks.
Forked Bolt, Static Caster, Electric, and Lavamancer. Jeez, I would be surprised if Andrew's able to get the next 2. Maybe 1. I'm not sure about 2 of them though. But they still got to play the games. That's what the games are for. So we will watch them play the second one here in just a moment. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale. It'll end Monday at 10:59 a.m. East Coast time and 11 a.m. on Monday East Coast time is when we'll bring you our next weekly sale. For now, you can save 15% off select legacy and vintage singles. Now I know with you, the wife is watching at home.
Oh yeah, I think you guys had some graded alpha and beta cards that were being discounted.
Okay. So would you like to put a feeler out there to the wife who's watching?
If I get home to some of those, you know, black border dual lands, some alpha baited, yeah, don't babe, don't bother with the graded 8. Come on, like if we're doing this, we're doing it right. I want 9s or better,
Okay.
and maybe just one of each.
Now, do you want those on priority shipping next day? Were you willing to wait? Or do you want them as soon as possible?
Well, I don't know. I have an anniversary coming up, so
So we're going to have the next day of those,
yeah,
just to make sure they get there on time. All right, just making sure. I'm looking out for you.
yeah.
I want to make sure those cards, you get back on probably Sunday night, maybe Monday morning. Walk in the door. Hi, honey. Boom, here's your cards.
Yep. I'd like to thank Jasmine in advance. Love you.
And here are your graded 9 or 10s.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm glad that I could further this along.
15% off.
That's correct. StarCityGames.com, weekly sale. Both players are going to take a look at their opening hands here. We'll see if they're both going to keep 7 or not. Time will tell. It looks like they both will. It'll be Jessup on the play. There's a Deathrite Shaman. Bob already has the Electrickery in hand. See how potent that can be in this matchup. Also has a Ponder and a Brainstorm. Young Pyromancer 2. Looks like he might be missing red sources of mana, however, with 2 Underground Seas in hand.
Yeah, a lot of card draw though, a lot of deck manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
I expect they'll be able to find one pretty quick. Is that Dismember in his hand?
That or a Thoughtseize, one of the two. Might be something different entirely. It might be a Gurmag Angler. It could be Cabal Therapy. And obviously, there's a black card in his hand. He's looking at Cabal Therapy, a Gurmag Angler, and the blue-red land that he was missing in Volcanic Island from the Ponder. He's going to keep. He wants all of those cards, apparently. Let's go back over to Andrew Jessup. Andrew Jessup does have a fetch land to work with. It's a Misty Rainforest. This is a Quirion Ranger. Deathrite will come across for 1.
Hiya!
Bob going to fall down to 19. And we'll go back over to Bob.
And hopefully for Andrew's sake, he's set up for a big turn 3 because he can't be dirtling around forever.
He does have Natural Order in hand.
Okay.
So perhaps that's the plan.
Yep. Bob being very, very careful here.
Well, we know that Elves can kind of kill you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I know we haven't seen it yet between Reed's match to kick off the weekend and Andrew's first game here, but this deck is explosive. It certainly can be a turn 3 deck at times. It's a turn 4 deck very consistently. And if Bob does make some sort of misstep here, especially with no Force of Will to defend himself, could be over. It's another Underground Sea.
Nope, not Underground Sea.
Boy, that's... Yeah. All right, I guess we're rewinding that one.
Okay.
Here's a Cabal Therapy. Name that tune. Hit. Natural Order. There's an Abrupt Decay, a Wooded Foothills, and a Bayou.
Yeah. No. I said I hope Jessup is set up for a big turn 3. Not anymore.
Nope. Now, for me, I think that Natural Order is the easiest name ever there.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
This doesn't feel like a glimpse game or anything like that.
Well, even if he does have a glimpse, you can still hope that he just kind of peters out.
Mm-hmm.
But if he gets to resolve Natural Order there, you're not winning the game.
Dismember, okay. It's going to go after Deathrite Shaman. Setting up an Electrickery here.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I see.
Leave behind some 1 toughness creatures.
Time to draw. Misty Rainforest.
Another land, just what he needed.
Okay. Plays a lot of those. That's not true. Here's an attack for 2. Pass the turn back. Over to Bob we go. See if he wants to play the Underground Sea this time.
These Elves decks have looked very fair.
Too fair for me.
The Legacy event I told you I played in locally with Liam Lonergan.
Yeah.
I lost in the finals to an Elves deck when I was playing Storm.
Okay, that's somewhat difficult to do.
He just won on turn 2, 2 games in a row, and yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes.
I mean, that can definitely be a thing.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a thing for Andrew.
Nope.
Or Reed when we watched him. But it can definitely be a thing. That's a young Pyromancer. This might be a Brainstorm, but Bob's just going to pass the turn for now. Jessup not interested in sacrificing the Wooded Foothills just yet. He will draw a card. Didn't get a great look at that draw step. We know he's got Abrupt Decay in his hand, though. I believe Green Sun Zenith.
Give us a peek, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a pretty awkward game for him. Just a few too many lands. The game plan that he was on got discarded.
Yeah.
You know.
Such a good game plan, too. Natural Order for Progenitus is basically game over against Grixis Delver.
Oh, yeah.
Some versions have access to Liliana the Veil, but most don't nowadays, so.
Well, and even if they do.
Probably got something to sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Andrew Jessup's no amateur.
Yeah.
You know, he'll leave around a fetch land to go get Dryad Arbor in a pinch, have other creatures on the board.
There's Abrupt Decay. That'll take care of the young Pyromancer. Here's an attack for 2. Bob's down to 11.
We see Bob being just super patient here. He could have Brainstormed there to get the bonus 1/1, but he knows he can get more value out of the Brainstorm later in the game. And these little 1/1s are not a big deal. Well, he has the Electrickery in his hand. And he's got the whole backup young Pyromancer to boot.
There's the backup young Pyromancer. Now here's the Brainstorm. Elemental token on the way, and now he will draw 3. Young Pyromancer's one among many. Didn't get a great look at the second or the third card, but
Look like Deathrite Shaman and Ponder.
2 will be going back here in just a moment.
Yeah, and there is something to be said. Bob is being very patient about this, but he has to be a little bit worried that his opponent could potentially just peel off another Natural Order, search up at that Progenitus. It looks like Bob's going to crack a fetch land this turn, ending up at 10 life.
That'd be bad.
You know, you don't want to lose this game and still have that Electrickery sitting in your hand and being like, man, how greedy was I? What did I do here?
If you take a look at Elves, especially when they have Query Ranger in play, Electrickery is just okay.
Yes.
You know, it's not, you know, kill all your creatures. Gonna flashback Cabal Therapy. We'll see what the name will be. We know Andrew's hand stanks. I suppose he has a Green Sun Zenith. I mean, that card's actually really good, but
yes,
it's not even ideal in this situation.
Yeah, the point I was making is that Bob has so many resources and he's so far ahead.
Pretty good name. But go ahead.
You know, you don't want to lose a game where you just haven't used all of these resources.
Agreed. Can't take them with you, as they say.
Exactly.
Going to sacrifice a Misty Rainforest, will Bob. Going to fall down to 10, as you mentioned. See what land he wants to dig up. Looks like he might be going towards the Trop.
Yep. Maybe.
All right. It'll be Volcanic. Gives him 2 sources of red mana. And Ponder. Another elemental on the way. Force of Will, Delver of Secrets, and a Tropical Island.
Yeah, the Force of Will is a good one here. A big insurance policy.
Mm-hmm. He will take that Force of Will. Now, no blue card to go along with it right now. So now would be a really good turn to draw Natural Order.
Yeah.
That is my professional advice.
Yeah, the window here is closing fast.
So you know what he's going to draw, right? Progenitus.
Because that's...
That's how this works.
Yeah.
Just ask Ross Marion. Draw step. Gaia's Cradle. That doesn't do much. And now that Electrickery is real.
Yeah.
Where it was just okay before, it has gotten pretty good now. We'll take a look at that card in question that Bob's been trying to set up basically this whole game.
Yeah, the Guy's Cradle puts Andrew Jessup in range of just hard casting a Crater Hoof Behemoth or searching for it with a Green Sun Zenith. So there's definitely something to be said for clearing out all of this mana.
Electricity with Overload will take care of a Quirion Ranger and a Dryad Arbor. Andrew able to use Quirion Ranger to bring back at least one of those Dryad Arbors. He'll fall a little bit lower now from the Misty Rainforest. Going to dig up a land out of his deck. Grimag Angler came down post-combat for Bob after attacking there for 4 points of damage. And Bob's last two cards are pretty good ones in a Force of Will and a blue card, Delver of Secrets, to remove to the very powerful Alliance's Uncommon.
Yeah, I can't imagine this game going Andrew's way.
No. Nope. Stranger things have happened, but I would be shocked if he's able to win this one. And a Heritage Druid is not exactly what the doctor ordered. Feel like it kind of needed to start with Elvish Visionary or Green Sun Zenith for Elvish Visionary.
Yep.
There's Heritage Druid. There's a Dryad Arbor. Cradle's the last card in hand. Bob going to quickly untap. He'll draw. Going to pick up a land here, I believe. Yes, because he kept with the Ponder. Here come the beatdowns. Andrew will take 9, going to fall down to 4. Pass the turn back with the Force of Will protection. All things being honest, he could flash it to him if he wanted to.
Yeah, this is all just going through the motions here.
Andrew with a Deathrite Shaman. Bob doing a little math, just trying to figure out if I Force of Will this and he has nothing, do I win? Can I just wait it out?
Yeah, does it really matter?
Mm-hmm. Untap. And draw. Picked another land and polluted Delta, did Bob. He'll play the Tropical Island. He will attack with all of his creatures, including a Pyromancer. There will be some blocks here. Jessup going to fall down to 1. Bob will pass. Jessup will draw.
Jessup can grind one more turn out of this.
Uh-huh.
Maybe more, depending on his draw.
Another Deathrite. That might resolve. We'll see.
Yeah, I think if Bob wasn't scared of the first one, the second one is not a big deal either.
And the question is, Bob's just trying to figure out what the last card in Jessup's hand is. And if you think about it, you can actually just figure it out pretty quickly.
Sure.
It's either a land, a natural order, or a glimpse. And he didn't play glimpse this turn.
Yeah.
So it's not a glimpse. He could have played a natural order if he wanted to, and he didn't via the Deathrite. So here's a block. Going to gain 2 life with the Deathrite Shaman. So he's going to stay at 1.
I believe he ends up. Yeah.
He has another Force of Will. All right, we're all set now. There's not a card in Andrew Jessup's deck that he can draw. Glimpse is not going to do it. Bob Wayne going to win this match here over Andrew Jessup. 2-0. Grixis Delver will take care of the Elves. For Bob, he moves on to 5-1. For Jessup, he's down to 4-2. And unfortunately for our Elves players this weekend, they have not been impressive on camera, Craig.
No, yeah, I promise our fans at home that the Elves deck really looks unfair sometimes.
Yes,
it does, I swear.
Not in the 4 games? Yeah, 4 games we've watched.
Yeah, no, it's looked anemic.
That's being kind.
Yeah.
It has been one of the fairer decks out there this weekend, that is for sure. As Grixis Delver continues to be a mainstay in the metagame that continues to look quite good when it's under the camera. We saw Noah Walker dominate with it. We see Bob do it here as well. So